All right, y'all, welcome to today's meditation time. The last day of February, which means we have a new month tomorrow. We have a new season before we even know it. The spring equinox is coming. It is just a time of so many amazing seasonal changes in our world. And so I am just honored that we're going to spend these few minutes together on this last day of February, drawing our attention to the present moment and just trying to find a little stillness and a little peace. So from wherever you are, in hopefully your predictable and comfortable spot, I invite you just to close your eyes. Oh, and then as the eyes close, let's just kind of notice the breath before we really start to focus and become intentional about it. Just kind of notice. Your breath in this moment is really a reflection of what has gone on today or the last few hours, what you were doing right before you got to this point. Our meditation practice really is about stopping the doing and just being. So our alarm goes off, a reminder comes, and this little trigger inside of us is like a little click of a switch that says, okay, stop the doing and let's just be. And so that is where we are in this moment. And as you kind of notice what your breath is doing, just let go of any judgment about it. If it gave you any indication or impressions about the day that might have seemed negative or frustrating or reminders of something that didn't go well, just let it go. Remember, the most important thing as you come to this space is that you come without judgment. You just witness what's coming up in your mind, what you feel in your body, what you notice in your breath. And you just witness. We don't assign good and bad, positive and negative. We just notice. And so now let's allow ourselves to become intentional about the breath. And so as you sit a little taller, maybe just allowing the spine to lengthen, or if you're lying down, just really allow the shoulders to draw back. Let's take a long, slow breath in. And exhale, let it go. Long, slow breath in. And exhale, let it go. And one more. And release. Somewhere between where your rhythm was when we started and where it is now, find comfort in that space. A rhythm that works for you. And as you're settling in a little more, I want to share with you a quote that I've used in class over the last few days, and it's still just sitting with me. And it's from Thich Nhat Hanh, this precious, amazing spirit who gave us so much wisdom. But he gave us this image. And so just listen to these words as you are continuing to sit and breathe and find a little stillness. He says, breath is a bridge that connects our life to our consciousness. It unites our body with our thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, he says, use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. So just those few words tells you how important he thought the breath was. It's a bridge. It's a bridge to all the different parts of us that seem to be disconnected at times throughout the day. Sometimes it's because of external circumstances. Sometimes it's because of our own thoughts, our own patterns. But what I'd like for each of us to do in our space where we are, as our eyes are closed, just picture a physical bridge. Not one of those big, giant metal ones that seem to go on for miles and miles, but just a small one. Maybe one you've actually seen on a walk out in nature from somewhere growing up in childhood, but just picture this small bridge that allows you to go across a river or a creek bed or an area where you shouldn't walk. Maybe there's a ditch and it's just too deep. So just picture one of those bridges where from one side you can actually see the other side. So it's not very big. And as you see that bridge, let's just reflect on what's the purpose of it. Think about it. It is to give us access from one side to the other without allowing harm to come to us. So if it's crossing over a ditch, it's not going to allow us to fall or to become hurt. It's going to allow us to cross with safety. If it's over a creek or a river or running water of some sort, it's going to allow us, again, to cross without getting wet or hurt or compromised in any sort of way. It's our passage from here to there. And for Thich Nhat Hanh to tell us that our breath is like a bridge, I cannot think of a more beautiful analogy. So just think, when I breathe in, I'm starting passage towards something. And right at the top, when I feel like I can't hold any more breath in, I breathe out, and then that journey is complete of that breath. So for this time that we have, this visual of the bridge, let's just imagine that when we breathe in, that's the first step of your foot on that bridge. And you know, we continue to breathe in, and it's a long, slow process, and that's you walking across this bridge. And as soon as you get to the point where the breath needs to go, your access has passed and you are over to the other side, and then you let it go and exhale. What an incredible analogy. And just like those bridges that keep us from harm in the water or the ditch or the rock bed or whatever it is that's letting us cross, our breath does the same thing. We encounter circumstances throughout our day that are kind of like the ditch or the rocky bed or the rushing water. And if we're not careful, we find ourselves caught up in those things. And inevitably, harm comes. Maybe it's not physical harm, but it's harm of allowing something negative to come into our space. It's harm when it's anger or frustration about whatever's going on that just sits and lingers within us. It's harm when we allow someone to treat us in a way that does not honor who we are. And I could go on and on with all these examples of what we encounter every single day. But y'all, our breath can be our bridge over and through these things so that we come out on the other side of the situation unharmed and safe. So I would invite you to just recall one struggle that you're going through right now. It's probably not a hard thing. It may be something new today. It may be something that you've been really grappling with for weeks and weeks or even longer. And I'm not going to tell you that taking a breath is going to make it go away. But taking a breath is going to allow you to find passage through it and over it. And then you take another breath and you get a little farther through it and over it. Until finally you realize someday you look up and you're like, I've come through it. It's behind me. And then we know the next thing's probably just around the corner. But now we have this tool, this access inside of us. So when those things come, they don't dismantle our peace. I had the chance myself last week in the middle of vacation to put that bridge concept of breath to the test. A situation arose, and years ago, it would have dismantled my peace in a heartbeat. But I looked into my other half's eyes and I said, I just need a minute. And I stood in the middle of noise and chaos and people, and I closed my eyes and I breathed. Long, slow breaths in and full, complete breaths out. And in less than a minute, I felt like I'd stepped across this bridge and I could open my eyes and my heart was calm. Now, it doesn't always come that fast. It's not always this quick remedy, but it can help us one moment at a time. So I'd like for us just to practice that for this next little bit. And if you would, keep that visual of this bridge in your mind so that as we breathe in, imagine your foot stepping onto this small bridge, and the whole time we're breathing in, you're walking across. And just visualize yourself when the exhale starts, you step to the other side. Safe passage, no harm. And then you do it again. So have your visual in your mind. See that foot ready to take a step, and let's take a long breath in. And then exhale, let it go. And then see the bridge again. Taking a step, breathe in. Exhale. Safe passage. Breathe in. And breathe out. Just keep going a couple more times on your own. Just see it. Feel it as you breathe. And then I would invite you to give yourself one more tool. Because sometimes we need a little bit longer than what this inhale just gave us. Sometimes the heart's beating really fast and the fists are clenched and the stress is bubbling up, and we just need a little longer to help regulate it. So what we can do through our meditation practice is actually train ourselves to breathe a little longer, a little deeper. And so again, I want us just to practice that together, to use this time and space to build capacity within us. The biologist would probably tell you we're building lung capacity, but really and truly we are building emotional regulation capacity. And so I'm going to start us off counting, and we'll go 4 beats in on the breath and then 4 beats out. And after a few times of doing it with 4, you'll hear me increase and I'll say 5, and we'll go 5 beats on the breath in and then 5 beats on the breath out. And then we'll get to 6 and then we'll return back to normal. So try to stay with me. I know you'll feel led to exhale sooner, but let's build capacity within our emotional selves, just in case the situation we're in needs more capacity within the breath. Continue to see your bridge, and let's take a breath in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just sit still or lay still wherever you are and just breathe. Sometimes you can feel the physical reaction of building the capacity of your breath. It's kind of tingly. You can feel the energy of it. Maybe for some of you, it's a little bit uncomfortable the first time that you do it. But Thich Nhat Hanh tells us our breath is a bridge. And what we have to do is train ourselves to find the kind of breath that we need in that moment. Sometimes a beat of 3 or 4 is enough, and sometimes we need it to last just a little longer. And again, it's not about lung capacity. It's the capacity of your personal emotional regulation. And it's yours to access whenever you need it. So let's just sit for this last moment. Don't worry about how you're breathing. Just breathe naturally. See what it feels like. And let's just stay right here, present. Not allowing the mind to stray if we can help it. But just be here. Just be now. Let that sound bring us back to the space we're sharing together. You have capacity within you. And for each of you, it is capacity that you can't even imagine. I encourage you to continue to think of your breath as a bridge. Whatever it is you're going through in life, it's the stuff underneath. Let the breath help you travel over it, through it, without bringing harm to yourself. And you'll realize the tools are going with you everywhere that you go and through everything that you encounter. Namaste.